Why does Atlando's face hurt? Because it feels 4. Hello and welcome back to the Nordic Championships. My name is Jake Hitframe Matthews. I'm joined by Orcs and we're kicking it off for our 4th and final game of the day. It's Hybrid taking on Atlando. How you doing, buddy? Holding in there?
You literally said it in the
I know he said
lobby.
it in the pre-game lobby.
So he says
but
it.
The people at home
He
don't
says
get
it in
to
the
hear
pre-game lobby, right? So we obviously the teams are setting up. We're in there as observers, and he says in the pre-game lobby, and everyone flames him. Everyone's like, report.
They said open mid, run it down, and 9 times this guy.
DH caster A, right? And so he sees all that feedback, right? And then he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it on broadcast for all the viewers. So, yeah.
Maybe the viewers appreciate it more than the players do. You know, they're in the zone. They're not ready for jokes right now.
Type 1 in chat if you hated that. Type 2 if you liked that joke.
We don't have Twitch chat.
No, we'll let it develop.
Have we got...
We'll let it develop.
Can someone send us Twitch chat?
We'll let it develop.
I'm talking to production right now. I need to see Twitch chat.
I want the community to recognize it, to see the roll in the grill that everyone hated this.
Tweet at HitBrainCast. Actually, I'm not HitBrainCast anymore. I'm just HitBrain. Tweet at HitBrain. Yes, if you agree with my joke.
Or if you don't, block at HitBrain.
Yeah, you block Orcs if you thought it was funny, and you block me if you didn't think it was funny.
I feel like you're going to block me. That's the only person. No one else is going to block me, man. No one enjoyed that joke. Anyway, moving on. So we just had Singularity fall, lose the undefeated streak. But now, moving on swiftly, we have Hybrid up against Atlando. So I think this is an interesting matchup. Hybrid definitely didn't have the greatest week before. And I think Atlando on the upswing. They brought Facer in the mid lane. His Aurelion Sol looked great. Question is, can he continue that on other champions? Is he going to draw a ban from Hybrid? That's the question. Jolbu looked really solid on the Lee Sin. I mean, not the Lee Sin, on the Jarvan. His Lee Sin has looked okay with moments of brilliance, but the consistency wasn't there. I'm confident of him and Jarvan, especially if they have a good team fight composition. We saw the Aurelion Sol work so well with that, but it is now banned away. So the question is, what can FaZe Hurt offer?
Well, we'll have to find out here as one more ban remains for Hybrid. They're going to take away the Gragas from them. Ornn has still been left open. We've seen it shift highly in priority due to things like the set getting nerfed. That's going to be the Jarvan taken away. Don't want any of that kind of strong ganking power now that Gragas is taken away, but Lee Sin's still been left open. See what the first pick here is for Hybrid. Typically, we've been seeing the Ornn first or second pick.
So one of the things I gotta say is that even in the games that Lando have been losing, Andreas has looked solid in the top lane. And I think Kakan has looked really rough. In that game he had last week against Vipers, Kakan was dying for no reason.
Yes.
So I feel like this is an opportunity for Andreas to make his presence known in the top lane and dictate this. There are a variety of picks you can take into the set. We see the Aatrox as a common one. I know that Andreas does favor the Vladimir himself, which would outscale it massively. I'm really looking at Andreas to pick something that'll just pull out all the stops here and put a lot of pressure on a Kakan. But for now, they're going for the Varus and they're going for the Olaf. So pretty mid-game spike in composition already. And the Olaf has a lot of early pressure. It does mean Elise a little bit weaker in terms of priority here because up against an Olaf will struggle. And unsurprisingly, Yike goes for the Lee Sin in that regard. Do now have... If Prisconet wants to go for the Ziggs again, which we saw them have a lot of success but also lose on last week, now is a time you could take it before it gets banned away, or they could go for an AD carry. Aphelios is taken away, but Misfortune is still an option. Senna obviously no longer really considered by these teams because it got nerfed so heavily. They're actually going to deny the Braum, so I think this is actually a really smart move because Varus Braum goes so well together.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Braum does well against Olaf because you can block those axes and just stop him from being able to do a large amount of damage to whoever his target is. And the response coming in from Fred is he's going to take the Rakan. I like him on this. He was really good on the Rakan. I think it was a big part of their success in the game they won. And also, it's a great matchup into the Braum because Braum can never CC Rakan because he has so much mobility. You can't stack up the Winter's Bite. You can't land the ult on him. And it means you have a pretty free lane on a champion who scales pretty well. Now, we're getting through the next phase. We see the casting banned away from FaZe here. We see the Ziggs banned away from Prisconet. No massive surprise there. And all these things are just giving Andreas a lot of safety because the big concern was when they played up against Nordic, Hybrid went Jarvan, Ziggs, Gangplank. Now, none of those champions are available for Hybrid because I've already taken the top laner and Jarvan, Ziggs are banned. But we saw how hard that was for Chris Biggs Varus to play into. Not going to be a problem here.
All right, one more ban here for Hybrid. What do they want to ban away? It's going to be the Diana. Another mid lane pick towards Face Hurt. There is a very, very diminished mid lane pool at the moment. Maybe they save it for counter pick as they lock in the Aatrox. They want to make sure Face Hurt has as good of a matchup as they can give him. They already know that Kakan has picked up the set. So there's no point holding a top lane pick at this point.
So this is a game where it's Andreas' position to step up. Kakan has been topping out a lot of these tier lists we saw coming into the split. And in his game last week up against Vipers, he just really looked bad. He was dying consistently up against the Ornn for no reason on the Aatrox. And this is an opportunity where Andreas can really punish him because Kakan has heavily played things like the Gangplank, played on the weak side. This won't be a possibility. And in this matchup, if you fall behind on either party, the other team could really snowball. You remember a few patches ago, it was Aatrox Renekton. Aatrox set is more so the situation now. And Hybrid opting heavily into poke with this last rotation. So obviously Ezreal buffed on this patch, really able to lay down the damage with more attack speed and a lethal tempo build. And Zoe seen as now a really strong blind on the current patch. He's just risen up without any changes. And that means if Hybrid find the opportunity, they can put a ton of damage down on the other team. But Atlando, they're going to go pure scaling, pure team fight with the Corki. And that means Hybrid, they have a window in which they need to win this. They need to come out ahead in the mid game. Otherwise, the later this gets, the harder it's going to be to try and win out against this Atlando team comp who have a great backline, great front line, and a lot of sustained damage. Hybrid, they need to get a lead. They need to set up vision control. And if anyone tries to contest any neutral objectives, they pick them and then they just blow up the lead from there.
It's going to be a very, very explosive game. Now, you got to remember what's on the line here. Hybrid 2-2. We just saw Bifrost take out Team Singularity. If Hybrid lose this game to Atlando, first of all, it really revitalizes Atlando and actually puts them ahead of Nordavind, who are currently now Nordavind, sorry, who are now 1-4. And Hybrid, you know, they want to get this win. They want to stay in the same competitive spot as Bifrost at this point. So a lot on the lines here coming into this game as week 3 has already been delivering in our first day of games.
Yeah, a lot of upsets, I would say, on paper, and sort of shaking up the expectations of who we think is actually the favored matchups, because we came into this split with a lot of this is who's going to be good, this is who's being good, but right now it's shifted massively. And I think this game's a bit of a different one as well, because typically Hybrid, they've played the Ziggs made for Chris Connect, where he's gone, I'm going to scale up, I'm going to become a monster, the game is going to be ours when it hits late game. This is not that case. Hybrid need to apply the pressure early. If Ezreal, Zoe fall behind, they're going to feel really non-impactful, and they're up against the likes of a Corki and a Varus. If they pick up their power spikes, if they get their 1, 2, 3 item spikes, they're in a really strong spot to just take over this game, and the team fights, unless Hybrid can play them flawlessly, are not going to go in their favor.
The poke available to Hybrid is going to be really, really disgusting, but the scaling heavily in Atlando's favor here as we take to the Rift for our 4th and final game of day 1 of week 3 here at the Nordic Championship. Hybrid taking on Atlando.
So both teams going for a defensive start here, and we saw the Braum earlier being used for an invade. That is a possibility. Ezreal, Lee Sin, both very strong. Level 1 if they want to try and look for that, but for now, don't think anything is really going to come out. Now this Lee Sin is going to be the big dictator, yike on this champion. He's had some good games so far. He is now no longer playing to sort of negate mid lane so Prisconnect can farm freely. I want to see him punish this Corki, especially if you can do it early. Be in that TP, put Corki in the back foot, allow Prisconnect to apply pressure. He's got Ignite for the kill pressure as well. You can set Prisconnect up to move down towards the other lanes and threaten those long-range sleepy trouble bubbles.
Alrighty, well, no delayed invade. I did actually think we might see it, but they decided not to go for that. Stepping away here for the side of Hybrid. They want to get this red buff.
I think it's a little bit risky into an Olaf Rakan, because if you phase check that and Rakan gets a triple knockup and then Olaf just starts cleavering you, you will go down. So I can understand the risk of it, not want to go for it. Lee will start on the bot side with a leash, and you can see the Olaf gonna go leashless. I think this makes a lot of sense with regards to the Lee wants to get things going early. He wants the assistance. And also Ezreal, Braum, there's not a lot you're going to be doing in this lane, being honest. At least there shouldn't be.
Well, Joel will Finish up his second camp. Obviously got a speed advantage on the clear over Yike. Yike obviously doing a slower camp. Now moving on to his third.
So more valuable now.
More valuable.
Krog's more worth it to go for. See some junglers on 10.2 to skip them out. I feel like this is going to be less so the case because they offer overall more XP.
Well, we'll take that electrocute proc there from Priskanet.
Yeah, without landing anything really but auto attack. So nice, really good counterplay. Kakan with the push in top lane, doing pretty well on this matchup. And I think this one's all about ranges. And obviously both these champions are melee, but Kakan wants to be up in your face. He wants to be beaten down on the Aatrox so you can't hit the sweet spots. And Aatrox wants to be sort of playing around those sweet spot ranges. Obviously, Kakan can still trade back with you in that regard with the grit. But for the most part, Andreas just wants to keep him at bay, keep hitting those sweet spots. And oh, nice. Priskanet finds a redemption.
RNG, baby. We love it. It's going to hold it for the moment.
I don't actually know this, but I wonder if it's like predetermined which waves items will come. Because it seems like you get so many early redemptions, which is really broken. Because you like Merbs is low. If he wants, you could just roam down and ult and redemption him.
Yeah. Or he could use it to basically get himself a cheat base.
Yeah, he can shove in, get a cheat recall. He can use it for damage pressure. It's super versatile because it's one of those ones that can be used if you're on the back foot or if you're going advantageous. Merb's getting really punked out here by the Varus. And this is the lane advantage that Varus has essentially 1v1 with the Ezreal. And the reason why I'm saying essentially 1v1 is that the Rakan and the Braum aren't going to interact very much other than throwing them out a couple of skill shots, a little bit of poke back and forth. The Rakan does do more because he can heal as well, but for the most part, it is essentially just the ranged champions going toe-to-toe. You see Jolbu forcing Priskanet and Yike away, but they already got the scuttle, so that was what they were looking for. They used the priority Priskanet had to get that camp. So a bit of payoff, and it's the thing you want to consistently see coming out for the side of Hybrid. Andreas landed some good trades here on a Kakan.
Misses out on that third sweet spot with the Darkened Blade.
I feel like you don't want to land that third sweet spot on set, because if you do, you're in a bit too close for comfort, and obviously then he can face breaker you into a couple of auto attacks, throw in a haymaker, and you're not going to be having a good time. So I think first two is the one trying to hit the sweet spot for in this matchup. Just again, keep him at bay, keep him at good range. Prisknet's doing that right now with Face here, having him trapped in the tower, and this is what you sort of accept as your fate with the Corki. Now, Corki did get buffs on 10.3. Not really to anything you'll likely specifically notice. It was to his package, so everything else has stayed the same. And essentially what's happened is if you ult and knock someone aside, the burn that they now automatically get burned. Even if you knock them out of it, they still get the burn taken on them, so it's a lot more effective for setting up engages. But I'm going to hold that thought because a bit of a skirmish coming in, but I don't think anything's coming from it.
Yeah, Priskanet starts running towards Yike, who was clear by, so...
Anyway, as I was saying, so a little bit more, that burn is guaranteed on them, and if you step on the package, you get burned for longer. So it's a much more useful tool to get the power out of. If you ult and you manage just to clip someone with it, they will take that burn damage and that slow, and it's a lot more significant. So I expect to see FaZe here potentially diving in a bit more to assist his frontliners and setting up the burn from that. Right now, Hybrid, they have priority in the bot lane, but Jolbu...
Yeah, he's going to get ignited. The power of that obviously procs a spell thief, so Priskanet's able to get the movement speed and kind of just run rings around Jolbu. This will be the Ocean Drake picked up here for Hybrid. Nice for them early, gives them a little bit of regen on the health bars.
Yeah, not the most significant, but can help in the laning phase. Obviously, a long time ago, it gave mana... Well, not a long time. Last season, it gave mana, which was really nice in the laning phase. The big thing is now it works in combat as well. So just like having some extra HP regen. Now, Priskanet used Ignite for the movement speed to dodge out on the cleavers, and now it means he's low, he's got no Ignite, and FaZe went for a recall. So he's in a great spot to keep applying pressure to this tower. May even get a plate here on Priskanet's reset.
Yeah, he does have that sheen. Kakan's able to break the Infernal Chains and dodge away on those Darkened Blades, so not going to take anything too much here. FaZe should pick up this plate. Nice and simple. The pings are coming down. Looks like it's just Priskanet pinging, but he's heading back to mid.
So like the respect from Andreas, he lands the 2 sweet spots on a long-range Darkened Blades. Doesn't go in for the third, dashes away, keeps Kakan at a comfortable range. Gonna get a recall, and I like this move from Atlando. They understand. You get the bot lane, you get the dragon in the bot lane. You no longer need to keep your bot lane there. You switch the numbers advantage towards the top side. Now, the Herald isn't available for another 45 seconds, so you can't take it right now, but you can start establishing the control. It's kind of awkward, this timing, because Jolbu's passing over the blue. He's still on the other side of the map. And as a result, you're not really going to walk too far into your river to try and contest vision. But for now, they're actually keeping Merbs in the bot lane.
I think Merbs is okay with this. He was getting really bullied by 4.
Yeah, he can't really be pressured much by the Aatrox. You can just farm from a distance, and you have that arcane shift to get away. Especially with a pushing wave in this situation. So he's happy to just farm up. Doesn't have TP right now to join. A lot of damage to Andreas. Andreas just does it back and then also heals up because he's an Aatrox. But it does mean the skirmishing power of Hybrid is more powerful on the top side because they have Kakan there, not Merbs. Kakan doing a lot more right now despite only having that ninja type. And Andreas,
he shoots the ulti! Almost finds the kill onto Merbs of the World, and what should have been a pretty safe, clean and easy farming lane for Merbs almost costs his life and does cost his flash.
Yeah, now Merbs saying, I don't want to lane against his Aatrox anymore. You take this Kakan. Kakan's picked up the Executioner's Calling. You usually want Grievous Wounds early in this matchup. You can either go the Bramble Vest or you can go the Executioner's. Executioner's a little bit cheaper. And also more on you to proc, more than relying on Andreas auto-attacking. But either way, he's now matched up against the Aatrox and flash for flash. So Andreas a little more vulnerable. But it does mean that Merbs only has the arcane shift to get him out of sticky situations. But you can see, because Merbs have to reset and head over here, Hybrid were a man down for a bit of time, and that's allowed Atlando to push in, get control of his Herald. We've got to be careful, he's got flash.
Yeah, he has ulti as well. He's going pretty low here. Priskanet looks for the ulti, gets him up with a portal jump. More sparkles added to flavor that up, and Jolbul will go down. First blood to Hybrid's mid laner.
Good moves coming out from Priskanet. He reacts to it, and he manages to shut down this Olaf. Yes, the Herald still goes to Atlando, but pretty big takeaway. No ult for Andreas, all flash here. He's in trouble.
Khan's looking to run him down. Uses the Umbral dash there, but gets a blast going away. Yike lands the kick. Has himself the Dragon's Rage. Ward hops for style points, and Yike finds himself the second kill for his team.
And that's a cost. You go aggressive on a Merbs, and you don't respect that when you're up against Kakan. Easy for Kakan to find that one. You don't have your ult, you don't have your flash, and Yike roam down the perfect opportunity. This is what I wanted to see from Hybrid. Because they need to get the game going on the early levels, and they've started to put the pace on.
Axes throws up the wall. Good quickness comes out. Merbs looks to jump away. That's going to be the arrow. The heals almost enough. The ignite will not burn down. Teleport burn.
From both sides, actually, Andreas ends up coming in, which is why Kakan doesn't chase more. So overall, I feel like the pressure's now in favor of Atlando for sure. But in terms of Summoner's Burn, Hybrid got to be pretty happy with that one because they got the flash and the heal from Thor for that. Riftol's going to be thrown down mid though. Facer has the package in this situation as well.
They've got everybody roaming up as well. 4 members. True Shot Barrage is going to come down, try and clear out the way. Priskanet should be able to get this one. Can portal jump behind and hit the eye. No, he can't apparently. Got to hit the eye, buddy. Okay, that was painfully slow. They do finally take out the Rift Herald as they head back onto the map. That Drake will be spawning up nice and soon. Jolbu will pick up the Scuttle Crab.
Now, a lot of pressure is going to be given over because Atlando have their bot lane resetting. The thing is, they still have a Corki with package.
Oh, he gets the bubble, but...
Yeah, this was a good move. So the important thing here is by landing the bubble, it forces the package, and that's not available for this Dragon team fight. So, limiting factors. Atlando, they've now completed their reset. They're heading back on the map to contest, but Hybrid have positioning in the river. They've already established that. They already have wards down. A sweeper comes down to spot them out, but there's no way to really clear it. And Hybrid is set up for this one, but Atlando want a challenge.
Yeah, World End has been used here. They get themselves a 2-man knock-up from Fred. In goes the Glacial Fisher. Kakan launches into the backline, throws out a Haymaker, but he gets taken out by Jolbul. Face Hurts trying to get this damage back down as Merbs joins into the team fight late. And it's just a whitewash, a double kill for Jolbul. And Hybrid are sent packing.
And despite the fact Thor had no chains of corruption, Fred had no quickness, they win that fight because Hybrid do not do well in straight up 5v5s. They need setup, they need poke, and they did not look for that there. And as a result, Atlando able to take the fight, and the reward is this mid lane tower on top of that, which you've talked countless times how important it is for control of the map. It means you can push that mid wave deeper, you can expand outwards, you can look top, you can look bot, and get control of the river and place down wards. And to lose that already, definitely a bad omen for Hybrid, considering we said they needed to get the things going early.
A lot of that stems from the fact that Merps had to catch that wave bot side that Andreas had pushed into him. So he wasn't there to set up for that poke, for the setup for the dragon. And then Hybrid just started as well while he's not there.
Hybrid, and it's not playing to your win conditions. It's not looking at your team composition and saying, what do we need to do for a perfect fight here? And for Hybrid, it's not start it. It's you poke, you poke, you poke, and either Atlando back off, or they feel desperate enough to start the dragon, and then you go in for the kill when they're low on HP. But instead, they end up misplaying it, and it's pretty costly in that regard.
Yeah, and what is it costing them? The Triforce now finished up onto face her. You got the Blade of the Ruin King on 4. Friskanet does have his Luden's Echo. But you've got to look at this Ezreal. Sheen and Tyr the Goddess. A lot of mana, but not a lot of damage.
The thing that gets concerning as well is in the late game, Facer can actually match up with a poke. So obviously when the AD carries have their own sustain, it's not going to be as threatening. But also Facer, those Corky Rockets got a buff a few patches ago. They hurt a lot. If you hit them on a squishy in the late stages of the game with a lot of AD behind them, really hard to survive that and not just be chunked out of a fight, especially if you have one of the big ones. And yeah, you're going to take that red away, so secure on that. But a small objective when they're still 2,000 down in gold. Mirbs, an arcane shift away. He's already experienced what it's like to get on Andreas' bad side and doesn't want to go through that one again.
Yeah, Kakan did get some solo time in this bot side, so he'll try and keep himself somewhat relevant in farm, but he is matching Andreas at the moment, who's also capable to 1v1 and AD carry.
Now, the soul is mountain. And if I'm looking at a side in this game who want that mountain soul, more than anything, it's Atlando. Because up against all that poke, having the extra shield just to prevent that, and the fact it can regenerate, huge. Absolutely huge. So,
and for Hybrid, they want it because it means they can maybe be a little bit more aggressive with the way they step for these, for this. But also, you got to look at like the face hurt poke that you were hitting on as the game goes later. You have that in your back pocket as well.
You won't complain about it, but definitely Atlando.
Oh, yeah.
This huge difference maker. I feel like for Hybrid, you want to keep the pace going before he even gets to your soul. But if it does, you want to be ahead in gold, you want to have control of the area, and you want to be landing this poke. Right now, they still have Mirbs going up 1v1 against Andreas.
Just desperately trying to get some farm, desperately trying to get some gold. Friskanet, with this Luden's Echo, now able just to clear out these waves with relative ease.
I think it makes sense because Mirbs is pretty safe for the most part. He should be. I mean, the only time pressure was ever applied was Andreas flashed, and obviously they both have flash.
Ooh, bubble.
Leapy trouble bubble.
Yeah, I don't think they've got the damage to chase this, so Joel will just take a little bit of bonus damage from the kick.
It's just night poke.
The Rift Herald spoke it.
Oh, this is scary.
Up. This is what we were hitting on though. There's the true shot. We'll do a little bit. Another bubble comes down. Another bubble lands. A lot of poke landing into Andreas. This is what they needed to do at that Dragon Pit. And now Kakar's on the back line. Goes in with the suplex. And Facer has to just jump out of there. This should be the Rift Herald picked up here for Hybrid. That's how you play an objective with this team comp.
Absolutely. Perfectly highlighted it. That's what we were waiting for. The poke to come in. They let Atlando position and start it. And when they're corralled in, they start landing the poke.
Oh. Friskanet actually cancelled bases there.
Yeah, that's big. That means they should be able to look to get this mid tower. It's only Thor stepping up. They're going to throw down the Herald. This tower's going to go down to Hybrid.
They might get a second charge here.
They will. Definitely get a second charge up. They won't get much more than that.
No, they won't.
Actually, no, I think they're giving it up. Yeah.
Rift Herald took a long time to do anything.
Yeah,
got out of bed, did a stretch.
I like this decision to give it up, to not protect it, because Dragon is spawning, and they want to be reset and back on the map. Ideally, for Hybrid, you get vision down, and then you back away from the objective. If you're not strong enough to just instantly zone them off, vision down, back off, you wait for the enemy to move in, you start landing poke, you force them out. That's the ideal situation. If you can posture strongly enough to stop them from moving in and clearing out any vision, great. But right now, the situation is going to be where Atlando have the vision control of the area. So Hybrid, they're going to have to fire blind poke in to a degree. They are moving up to respond. Priskinet's coming in. If he lands a lot of damage on a Jolbu there, it could be big.
Yeah, do get the bubble off there. Ragnarok is held. He knows that the paddle star's already been used, so doesn't need to worry too much about that. Looks like Atlando looking to start this up. Kakan a long way away. Does have his teleport available. And it looks like maybe Hybrid are looking just to give this up. Merbs now collapsing in, but they do not have the man advantage. The true shot clips onto free, but that's going to be the Drake picked up. Bubble does land, and Andreas takes a little bit of poke as the chains look to spread. Do land in, and now the fight looks to start up here. Yike just jumps back out. The Ragnarok was burnt. Just a little bit too slow on the punch there from the side of Hybrid, but Priskinet, he's not done here. He finds a bubble and a shutdown. They get something in return.
And Atlando just not wanting to fight them in that situation. Start to experience the poke. And it's so difficult, especially being a Mountain Soul map with the extra terrain. This comp is incredibly hard to face because the poke just comes out over walls. If you try and threaten the Ezreal, he can dash over even more terrain. Priskinet, even more opportunities to land those bubbles flying through the terrain of the map. The Hybrid in a pretty comfortable position. Yes, they lose the dragon, but as we said, Soul is not their objective. They want the game over before that really comes off the cards. Yes, it means Atlando are 10 minutes away from theirs, but they can deny them later on. And with the pressure advantage here, they can hammer away at this bot lane tower and should be able to take it down.
I really want to note the items here. There's only a 100 gold lead between 4 and Merbs, but Merbs hasn't been to base yet. He's got 1 Kaya in his pocket currently. He's still not finished on a complete item. He will go back and finally start up that Mana Mune and start to work towards the Mirror Mana, but 4 has been running for the last 2 fights with a Blade the Ruin King, which is a massive advantage for him.
Big thing with the Blade the Ruin King is you need to auto attack people.
Yeah.
And you're not really getting the opportunity in this situation. You're not able to just freely auto attack anyone. If Kakan's there, sure, but Kakan has enough team fighting power and CC that it definitely makes things tricky. For now, Atlando. Gold lead now roughly closing. Atlando still slightly ahead. But it's all about the setup for the fights. If we're looking at who's going to win them. All about who facilitates their team better. I think vision control is a big thing. If Atlando find a flank, it's just over. If Hybrid can safely find poke, very difficult for Atlando to really respond to that. So both differing win conditions. See how it plays out, but as the game goes on, definitely going to be harder for Hybrid to keep up with the scaling of the likes of this Corki.
Well, we are 20 minutes in. Have a little look at the items coming in. There's the Mirror Mana finally finished up. Triforce onto Kakan. Triforce onto Face Hurt. Face Hurt now working towards what we expect to be that rapid fire cannon second.
Mib's actually going the Iceborne Gauntlet, so it's a cheaper spike, is a big factor. But I think the main thing is the chase potential.
Yeah.
Oh,
yike! He just slid into 4's DMs, but Fred looks to turn it back around. The chains look to spread here. That's going to be 4. He finds himself a return kill. The World Ender has been thrown down. A flash out by Priskinet, and FaceHurt looks to run him down here. They didn't have Kakan. They bit off way more than they could chew. Priskinet's going to get a bit of damage off, but a great block by Fred, and 4, he finds himself his second kill.
And that's Hybrid ignoring their win conditions. They don't go for the poke. They try for an engage. And it looked like they might have got Thor, but he flashed away. And they end up investing into a fight that they did not want to take. Now, Khan's here to try and contest, as is Yike trying to find the smite steal, but it's getting very low on HP.
So is he, though. He's getting run down by Andres. Fred looks in. That's going to be the face breaker thrown down. They don't have the ability to get Yike into the pit.
He's down.
Everybody runs him down. Jolbu stays inside the pit, and Kakan has to flash the wall. The true shot barrage almost steals Baron Nashor, but a smite comes down by Jolbu, and he secures that item. That objective, sorry. Yike just was way too bored almost there. He wanted to make something happen. He wanted to be flashy, but like you said, it's not what Hybrid do. It's not what their team is built for.
And you need to play around the summoners. You should have known Thor had his flash up still. That play isn't one you go for when he has that available. Mibs ends up dashing in, caught by the chains of corruption, and the re-engage is huge. Hybrid, you're not a team fighting composition. You're a poke one. I want to see you poking, not going for those fights. But right now, Atlando, they have the Baron buff, they have the gold lead. The game is playing at their pace, and that Mountain Dragon is spawning in 40. That's going to put them on Soul Point. You can see that Hybrid are going to move over and try and get vision control. If they can find some good poke as Atlando move over, maybe they'll be able to keep this one in their favor.
Now, key thing here, Phaser has got the package, so we'll be a little bit quick around the map. Kakan has gone up to contest him here. Rapid fire cannon and Triforce on that Corki is a lot of damage. Combining that with the Rage Blade and the Blade of the Ruined King on 4. If he can auto attack, he's going to do a lot of damage. Just Priskanet also capable of doing a fair amount. Gets a bubble onto Jolbu, doesn't follow up, doesn't really want to risk it.
Now, if you don't land poke here for Hybrid, you just back away. You keep landing poke as best you can. If you fail, you give it up. This is stalling time while Atlando have the Baron. They're trying to posture, and every second that goes by is a second less of pushing for them. They land a little bit of poke, but you got to be cautious of the engage.
That's that poke, though. Jolbu's looking to land it.
Don't start the dragon. Don't even touch it. Don't get in that pit, especially with the extra terrain. The Mountain Soul, it's going to trap you in there. Just keep landing poke and wasting time for this Baron buff.
Phaser takes a fair amount of damage. They jump in. The chains are going to land here. That's going to be a Glacial Fissure for the moment. Priskanet is looking to burn some damage down. In and jumps Kakan onto the backline, but Andreas, he's doing his part as well. Kakan throws out a Haymaker and looks to pick one up. Jolbu very, very low on HP. The poke can come down, and Kakan trying to run those people down, but Forrest just doing so much damage to him. What was Kakan doing stepping forward? The Drake does look to reset here, and Merbs can continue to poke away with those Qs. Yike maybe looking for this steal, slides in and gets the smite, is able to steal that away. He will fall down. And Hybrid, they lose 3 members. They stall a lot of time, and they secure the dragon, so at least they deny soul point here to Atlando.
And critically, because they're so low in Atlando, they have to reset. This is a lot of Baron time being taken for very little offered towards Atlando. They essentially wasted a huge part of the Baron. They got 2 towers. They got the tower top and the tower bot, and those are some of the easiest. And right now,
4 is playing very well right now, though. You feel he is Atlando's key point in this game to pull it back. Face hurt as well. Obviously got that scaling option. 305, capable of doing a serious amount of work himself. But I am really keeping my eyes on 4. These chains of corruptions onto Merbs or Priskanet have been so big. And Axis goes in to defend them, gets himself caught as the chains spread as well. And it's just really, really starting to cost them. Now, Merbs has picked up that Iceborne Gauntlet, so obviously has a bit more slows to work with. As Kakan maybe getting caught out here. Actually suplexes over the wall. Has got the grit to work with. Fred's looking to come in. Yike goes in for the shield. They're not going to get it in time, and Force snipes him with a piercing arrow.
Problem with the stopwatch with set, you end up timing out all of your grit as it decays. And the result is you go down for very little in return. But no Baron available for Atlando is a critical thing. Timed out. It's not for 2 minutes. They will push in the bot lane with this Corki. Pretty fast at taking towers, but looks like Merbs is moving down a react. And overall, Atlando still in the gold lead, 6,500, still very much in control. But Hybrid definitely did quite a bit to stall out that Baron. The problem is, their team stalling out means this Corki's going to get stronger and stronger.
He's already strong enough as it is. Yike, stepping forward. Has got Merbs with him. The long-range bubble. It's going to pop, but not put anyone to sleep. Now Priskanet clearing out this wave in the top side.
Right now, Hybrid essentially just on wave clear duty here.
Deathcap now going to get picked up by Priskanet on this base. So even more poke to work with. But Merbs, what's the next item? Blade of the Ruined King we'd expect.
I think so. Apparently some people have been going back towards the AP sort of builds. Gunblade here and there. It makes sense for poke, but I feel like you got a lot of frontline to cut through. I think the Blade of the Ruined King still functions pretty well. And I think if you do go the Gunblade, you're not going to offer any real DPS in these fights. But I mean, already, you look at the items for Merbs. 2 cheap items, and you compare him to Thor, who has
2 expensive items.
Yeah, and he's sitting on those 3 daggers. He's about to recall. He's going to finish, I believe, his next item here.
Hurricane.
Probably
maybe
PD.
Phantom Dancer.
PD would be solid here.
Hurricane.
More spread damage, but
good wave clear as well.
You look at the item comparison between those 2 AD carries. An Ezreal with 2 cheap items versus a Varus with some expensive ones, and it's the gold difference right now. 2,000 just shy off. There's a big lead mid lane. It's just across the board, Atlando pulling ahead, and they're stronger in these fights, stronger in these skirmishes. I mean, look at the level difference as well. between the junglers. Jolbu at level 14 to Yikes 11. And yes, Olaf can fall off, but he's still going to be a menace in these team fights when he's running your Zoe down. And the fact he's kept up in levels with the solo laners, he's going to be a formidable force. And you can't peel him with CC.
I mean, Lee also falls off, and what he becomes later is a kick bot. But we've already talked about that. Hybrid don't want to use him as a kick bot, at least not as like a startup.
You can't even kick the Olaf away. It's just the damage. And the thing is, there's not a ton of sustained damage on the side of Hybrid to cut through this Olaf right now. With a Sterix, with a stopwatch that will end up turning into a GA. And you've seen the Infinity Edge picked up by Facehurt. I believe he just grabbed the package as well.
Oh, that's what Priskinet's capable of doing, though. The package has been picked up. True Shot Barrage is going to come down as well, just for a little bit of poke. Andres actually almost killed him.
And the tick from the Death Stance, that was close. Facehurt has a package, though. Andres,
71 health.
He's not been allowed to recall. This is what the poke can do, though, from Hybrid. 6,500 gold down, they can still chunk someone out. Problem is, if the fight starts and the engage comes in, it's tricky. Instantly, the ult from Jolbu comes in to deny the CC. And you can see this poke from Hybrid starting to find some posture now. Dragon spawning in 15. It'd be the third for either side. You gotta be cautious, Hybrid, leading this far over, though, because Baron could be started up. You see Atlando heading over. They have two very strong sustained damage carries here.
Yeah, they are going to take this so quickly if they're left alone. You can see that Merb's actually looking to start the Dragon up. He does have that True Shot Barrage. Atlando itching for this fight. Baron's already low. They're going to look for the True Shot. All of the damage is going to be layered in. Priskinet's still alive for the moment. The teleport's coming down. Dragon is cancelled, and the Baron is started up. But the fight has already ended before Merbs can even make his way in. Priskinet does land that bubble, but he has no way to follow up. Khan does have the showstopper, but this Baron is melting here to Hybrid.
They overcommit on the poke. The engage comes in, and this is the power of this Rakan, this Varus. It changes the corruption and quickness.
I genuinely can't fathom why Merbs decided to do Dragon there. They knew they were running towards Baron. He went, I'll go for Baron. I'll try and contest this. And oh, can he? No, okay.
That was close.
Khan could be in trouble here. Dodges out on the grand entrance. They should
Level
be okay.
16 Corki now, so max rank on those rockets, which really do hurt. It means he's going to be able to go toe-to-toe in degree with the poke from the Zoe, this Ezreal. And the thing is, you can have the greatest poke in the world, but if the other team just engages, you don't have time, you don't have the position to implement it. And that is the problem that Hybrid are experiencing. The disengage is not good enough. The engage from Atlando, too good on the back of this Rakan. Fred has been playing so well on this champion, and he performed extremely well last week as well. I think it's a critical part of their success, him being able to set up while also being able to provide safety for his teammates. Right now, they're posturing around mid. Hybrid feel trapped in their turret, unable to find poke in this situation.
Well, actually, Jolbu loses half his health to Priskinet.
He'll heal up, though.
So, he is going to be finding a heal up, but he is at least finding something. Khan is dragged in by the Infernal Chains, trying to deny the red buff from getting taken away. Merbs is going to be able to pick that one up. And the wave clear is going to be a massive problem here for Hybrid. They don't actually have any great wave clear outside of Zoe. And now they're Baron minions. Zoe's going to suffer trying to take these out.
And the thing is, like I said, Hybrid aren't going to look for engages here. So they can split a 1-3-1 and they can't start a fight. You can't engage on this Varus Rakan. It's too difficult. And if you do, you just have the solo laners flank in and then shut down the fight. No great response to this. And when a poke comp falls behind, it falls hard. You really cannot find the setup for this situation. And they're just able to rotate through. Atlando just feel unstoppable this time. The Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. Priskinet's trying, but he's not succeeding.
You can see Merbs is trying to do something to Facehurt here, but Facehurt just so strong. Look at the damage he's actually doing here. Facehurt will get sent back in here by Merbs. Merbs flashes forward, forces the flash out by Facehurt.
Yeah, a little bit disrespectful from Facehurt. He was too focused on the tower rather than the Ezreal and does get chunked out, but it's a flash for flash. Not too big of an issue right now, but it does mean the reset comes in from Atlando. They're not willing to start a fight when they're downing numbers. Right now, just look at the gold. Both carries just about 3,000 gold up, but it's the jungle and the top also being up. It's the support being up. It's a 6 towers to 2. Everyone on Atlando is far ahead. Really difficult one to see Hybrid come back from this. It's 2 minutes 30 on that Dragon. They can give this one up. Hybrid if they want to. If they secure it, it's Soul. But the fight that ensues could be very risky for them.
Could be indeed. Right, but Merbs now finished up his Blade the Ruin King, got the Iceborne, got the Mura Mana. He's going to do a lot with this poke. Same for Priskanet, who's got the Death Cap, Fiendish Cone Dex for as much cooldown as possible. So we are going to take a quick pause, give us some time to figure out what the hell can Hybrid do to pull this back? Because like you said, poke comps suck when they're behind.
Yeah, they really do. You want the control, you want the setup, you want to play fights on your terms where the enemy team is trying to start an objective or they're trying to move in on an objective. If you have complete fog control over Dragon or Baron and the enemy team is trying to face check against a Zoe Ezreal, it's almost impossible. But that is not the situation we're dealing with right now. This is a Atlando go where they please. Hybrid have to try and sneak poke in. If they land a great Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto, Thor or onto Face Hit, there's potential.
Yeah.
The problem is it's likely that blockers will step in. They have the Olaf, they have the Rakan. Really hard to find angles for this. But that's the way back in. If they manage to blow someone up, if they manage to chunk someone out the fight and then win the ensuing fight, yes, there's a massive gold lead. But if you blow someone up, you have to just instantly remove all their gold from the equation, sorry. If you take out Face It, for example, that's 14,000 gold wiped out of the team fight. But as much as I say that, Atlando, 11,000 gold up. So even wiping off that 14,000 doesn't exactly make things easy pickings. Hard pressed to find an avenue back in this game.
Very much so. Merbs would like to maybe get that level 16. He's a long way away. His third and final rank into True Shot Barrage might offer a little bit more poke to him. Priskanet running around with the Exhaust at the moment as he summon a spell on the Zoe.
Pretty good one.
He's about to get that flash up. Now, let's take stock of what the summoner spells we've got for this dragon spawning up in a minute. Andreas should just about be getting his teleport back. Facer will be a little bit further behind there. Actually, no, they're tied. They'll have the same.
Kakan, Yike, and Priskanet are getting their flashes soon, but the big one is Merbs doesn't have his. The counterpoint is Face Hit doesn't, but I feel like Atlando are going to play around the fact that Merbs doesn't have flash. They get on top of him. Yes, he has the Arcane Shift, but it's only one tool to get away. Dragon spawning in 40. You can see Hybrid put a lot of priority around controlling not just Dragon, but the entire mid area. They have a circle of control wards almost, if you look on the mini-map. And they will push mid up, and they will rotate through to the side, and then they'll get control of these objectives. You can see Andreas and Fred moving up together. They are being a little bit cautious because there's the threat of the poke. And there is actually a ward in the Dragon Pit, but I feel at this point, Hybrid, you give up the Dragon. Not worth it. If you're going to fight an objective, it should be the Baron. And if you're going to fight it, you want to land poke first. So Dragon, too quick to kill is the big thing. Doesn't do any damage to any of your members as well. Not really threatening. And you'll see they burn through it in a couple of seconds. They're still full HP. That's not the objective you want to fight them on. You got a Baron, you get a little bit of vision control there. You poke them out when they're already taking damage, and the debuff from the Baron. The Baron will debuff you as you're fighting it, so it shreds your magic resist. Really great for the likes of Priskanet. A Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but no follow-up.
Teleport used by Merbs.
That was insane, actually.
Does actually hold his life, and that's massive because Baron's up in 15 seconds.
I feel like Face Hit, maybe if you got an extra crit or something, that could have made the difference. Or if you had a big
75% crit currently, yeah.
But either way, he gets away. But that now means all of Hybrid are backed off. Atlando are ready to start this Baron up almost instantly.
There's no way they can even contest it. They know it's going on.
They're not getting the poke down.
coming down. Yike's going to move over. We'll get spotted out on this pink border. Another Squire comes down.
Has to be a steal.
Yike has to make this steal happen. There's a blast going for him to take. Takes himself the kick over. Can he get the smite steal away? Yike jumps in. Jolbu secures it. A massive knockup by Fred. The Glacier Fish has been thrown down, and Priskanet's looking for that poke. Andreas goes golden for the moment. The flash is available, and only so far, nobody has died. Andreas taking a lot of damage. The poke is starting to come in thick and fast here from Hybrid. They're looking for those slows. The bubble is going to find his mark from Priskanet. They're looking for a shutdown. It's just going to be a GA so far. Andreas looking for his Baron base as quick as possible. Kakan now is going to get run away as they got themselves a kill onto the jungler, but Andreas is out of there. He has teleport, so he's looking to join up with the rest of his team. Hybrid are trying to get his damage off in time. The bubble's landed. Facer's putting the damage out. The bases are coming down. They're able to get their AD carry away to safety. Fred is now looking to get his grand escape out, and Hybrid, they find one. They lose Baron, and they get nothing else.
How they only lost one member there, I do not know. But Atlando, they get the Baron. They already had the Dragon, and they end up just losing their jungler there. Yike. So close to taking that Baron. And it wasn't even a misplay from him. He dashed in with the Zoe bubble on the Baron. The bonus damage got it down to about 1,000 HP. He started hitting it, and then as soon as it hit the threshold from which Jolbu could smite, he had to do it.
That's the problem.
And
Jolbu was further ahead.
He was 2 levels up. And you saw the health that ended up at was about 60, 80. And it was like, he did what he could. If he hadn't smited then, Jolbu would have smited, and he would have lost it anyway. But the end result is he ends up losing this Baron. He tried, Hybrid tried in that fight. The chase down potential from this composition is great. If Atlando on the back foot, the front line aren't in position, and that was a big thing, Andreas and Jolbu getting chunked out. If the engage is a bit off, Hybrid can chase them down. But it just wasn't enough there.
No, Priskanet's getting caught. Sorry, that's Kakan getting caught. True shot comes out. Priskanet does land a bubble over the wall, but this is a Baroned up wave. They've got the track onto the mid lane here. They've even got the track into the top lane. Priskanet's going to have to make some big damage connects, but he can't do so. Now remember, Jolbu doesn't have his GA anymore. He's going to have to Ragnarok already. Glacial Fisher comes out, but he'd already Ragnarok, so he's out of there. As Priskanet's looking for the bubble. Good stopwatch comes out. Gets himself another bubble, but this time it gets tanked up. Four's looking to turn onto Priskanet, and he just deletes him. This looks like Atlando are looking to win this game. Andreas has the world ender on, and it's the game-ending ultimate. A knockup lands onto Hybrid. They get themselves a double kill. It's just going so wrong for them here. Merbs is doing his best to put the damage out, but there's too much damage coming down from the carries onto these turrets. They've got Baron to work with. 37 minutes on the clock. The death timers are starting to come up as Kakan's coming back. Merbs has to flash away, looking for that suplex. They're going to hold fast for the moment, but the Nexus will fall here, and Atlando take down Hybrid.
And the redemption arc from Atlando, a team who was struggling on 0 wins, to now have their second here, looking really solid. And, you know, Hybrid win a pushover team. I've got to commend their performance, and I think the big thing is ease of execution team fights. And that's what they drafted last time they won. That's what they drafted here. And they look for a composition where when it comes down to fights, they know what they're doing. They know what the roles are. They have a backline which performs well and really just standout play all around. And there were little concerning moments. You know, that fight towards the Baron could have gone a little bit topsy-turvy. But overall, I think for a team who started rough and were put sort of on the bottom end on a lot of people's expectations, they're really coming up. And I think my concern for Hybrid is that this is a team who, you know, things worked really well when they had the Ziggs. That was sort of their running thing, which was effective. But now they moved towards a composition here that, you know, the setup was the poke. And I love their composition with the Jarvan, the Ziggs and the Gangplank because it played itself.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
poke comps are hard.
We now look at what that's got. And that has now tied these two teams on the standings as well, which is good for them. And tomorrow could really decide a lot here for the side of Hybrid. They could just start to slip behind the likes of Atlando, who've been doing fantastically well. I am so excited for tomorrow's games because there's a lot getting decided. We have a battle for first tomorrow now. Let's have a little look at our matchups for tomorrow here in the Nordic Championship. We're going to be starting out with Nordovin versus Biofrost. Then our match of the day, Team Singularity taking on Vipers Inc. The winner of that game will be walking away in first place here in the Nordic Championships. Then we'll have Dusty versus Hybrid. Atlando taking on Hilrod will be rounding out the day for game 4. I don't even need to ask you what game you're excited for.
I think the last 3 all look great games. I think Singularity vs Vipers, the battle for first. I think Dusty against Hybrid. Both these teams, a lot of hope in them, but they're just not performing to the best to their potential right now, and in a little bit of a rut. Atlando and Hillerod, the 2 teams who came out of week 1 with 0 wins, and even came out of week 2 Actually, no, I think Hillerod managed to get a win on week 2 day 1. By the way, they looked really rough at first, and they were rated pretty low in people's expectations. They're bouncing back, so that's going to be a clash. The only one that may be less interesting is based on form, Bifrost against Nordavind.
Yeah.
I think that one based on form, Bifrost will stomp, but which you wouldn't hear at the start of the split.
No?
It's we ask at what point is Nordavind going to wake up?
You're the color caster, man.
At what
You're
point
the
Nordavind-
guy who knows this.
At what point, Nordavind, are you going to wake up?
I mean, when they're going to start playing, really, because Bifrost, they really stepped up today. They took down Team Singularity. They took down the undefeated team. So you look at this and you go, man, if Nordavind can win this game, that's at least some kind of a positive light for them.
I think what I've seen from a lot of these teams is, I'm not saying concede the early game. Early game is still a big factor.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like, don't pick champions where if you miss the mark, the game's over.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, at all, like, I'm not saying don't pick Elise, but, like, there's situations where you're like, okay, we have to win mid-jungle matchup or the game's over. And I think don't put yourself into those sort of chokeholds. Don't try and play really difficult compositions. A lot of these team comps are decided by the 5v5, the team fight, the skirmishes. And a lot of the teams I see bouncing back, having success, these bottom-end teams that people just wrote off for the league are playing compositions that are easy to execute.
Yeah.
And right now, you need points on the board, Nordavind. Play something that's just simple. Give Chris Bergen 80 carry where he can play without just getting manhandled by the other team.
Getting run down by a Zach.
Put Knight on a pick where he doesn't need to, like, stomp lane for your composition to work. And put Aesthetic on a champion that, sure, it can still gank early, but also is relevant in the later stages because you can engage really well in some team fights. And I think this is the direction I think that's worked. And I think over time, as the split goes on, you can develop more strategies. I think already Bifrost have had a range of things that work for them, but not every team can work as innovatively. And I think sometimes when things aren't working, you just go scrap it. What's the easiest thing we can do? And just get a win on the board, get the confidence back is a big thing. So up against Bifrost tomorrow, I think they should just go for something that essentially plays itself. And that might be their way back into it. Because right now it feels like their biggest opponent for Nordavind is themselves.
Yeah, well, they need to find that win. They were the favorites coming into this tournament, and currently they are scraping at the bottom of the barrel. Tomorrow's matches are going to be insanely good. We're going to be deciding so much here in the Nordic Championships. Who's placing where? Who is the best team? So you don't want to miss that one. It'll be on 7 o'clock, same time, same place. We'll see you then.